Attention shoppers. Tonight on the checkout, a warts and all look at skincare products.
Wrinkles made simple.
Fuel for thought at the petrol pump. And the guilty mum makes a meal of foods specially for kids.
We all know that petrol stations try and upsell you stuff you don't need.
G'day, mate. Chips 2 for $5, drinks 3 for $6, and you won't find flame hats this cheap anywhere else.
I don't think they sell flame hats anywhere else. But the upselling starts before you even walk in the door. Since 2007, sales of premium petrol have increased by 57%. Fuel companies say it gives you more power, better fuel efficiency, cleans your engine, and helps you escape tsunamis. The reason petrol stations love premium fuel is because it's twice as profitable for them. But is premium really worth it? The thing about cars is, most of us don't understand how they work, so we'll listen to anyone who sounds like an expert.
You gotta use premium petrol because it gives you more power.
People think this because premium petrol is high octane. While these petrols have lots of different names, they all have octane ratings of either 95 or 98. So does high octane mean more power? Well, to find out, we need to know how an engine works. Which is in here. Petrol engines compress fuel and air and ignite it. Some engines compress it more than others. A high-octane fuel can be compressed more before igniting. High compression engines do get significantly more power from high-octane fuel, and if your car requires premium unleaded, you should use it. Whereas if it says it's recommended, it's up to you. You may see power benefits, but if you don't have a higher compression engine, using premium petrol won't turn your car into a race car.
You should use premium petrol for greater fuel efficiency.
No one likes having to buy petrol all the time. We're here, kids.
Yay!
At the petrol station again. So some people put premium into a regular car thinking they'll go further on each tank. And they do. A test by drive.com.au found that over 100 kilometres you use less premium fuel than regular.
Told ya.
But the difference was so small that premium fuel was still more expensive per kilometre. And with ethanol blends, despite being the cheapest here, because they're less efficient, they actually end up being more expensive per kilometre than regular. So in short, for most normal cars, regular unleaded is the most cost effective.
That'd be great information if I could get to the pump, idiot.
And if you want to reduce your fuel costs, things like air conditioning, an aggressive driving style, tyre pressure, and heavy items in the car can have far more impact than what fuel you use.
Mate, you should use premium petrol because it keeps your engine clean. And your steak's on fire.
Oh! Burning stuff in a small confined space can leave a mess, which can reduce the flow of fuel and oxygen to your engine. BP, Shell and Caltex say their premium fuels contain special detergents and advanced additives that help clean it. But BP and Shell say similar things about their other fuels too. So is it worth forking out for these special cleaners? Well, the more advanced additives in some premium fuels can lead to less carbon deposits. But the RACQ says problems arising from these deposits occur fairly infrequently. So it's your call if you think they're worth an extra $10 a tank. Your hat's on fire. So unless your car specifically needs or recommends premium petrol, which you can find out here or here, the only thing it's unquestionably better for is burning money. And if you can find it, regular unleaded is actually more cost effective than E10. And saving money on fuel means you'll have more to spend on stuff you really need. Just for fuel, thanks.
No worries.
And Celine Dion's greatest hits.
4 for $10. Chuck in a flame hat.
Sold!
Hallmark Thomas and Friends card. 2 today.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
Not suitable for children under 3 years of age. Hallmark. It's the thought that can't quite count.
As a guilty mum, I won't feed my child anything unless it specifically says it's for kids on the pack. Like this chicken and apricot puree. It's a flavoursome combination of 9% chicken, 9% apricot and 82% other stuff. But it's 100% goodness. And it's all approved by this made-up cartoon baby. Honest. Knowing when to start eating solids is very important. The National Infant Feeding Guidelines say at around 6 months. But Heinz says from 4 months. Which must be right because they have so many products for then. And I don't want my baby missing out on those important nutrients that the national health professionals aren't even aware of. My baby's first yogurt will be Balia's My First Yogurt because it's easier for babies to swallow. And my baby won't just swallow anything, unlike her mum. Ooh, but she could swallow this cap though. It's My First Choking Hazard. Calcium has 25% more calcium than, oh, there it is, some unnamed product that has 25% less calcium. It's so credible. No mum wants their kid to have for brains, so I feed them oats for brains. More calories, more fat, and more sodium than the adult oats equals more brains. It's packed with stuff that's necessary for normal neurological function. I've already got plenty of kitchen appliances, but none of them have the word baby in them, which is why I need the Bieba Baby Cook. It steams baby food in less than 15 minutes. And if I didn't already have a microwave and blender, I don't know what I'd do without it. There it is now. Of course, there are some things that don't need to be especially for kids. But water's not one of them. Mount Franklin Kids Water has all the hydrogen and oxygen of normal water, but with mermaids and princesses, it's just, you know, water. I know some people don't think kids' water's appropriate. Thankfully for the critics, there's Bebby Infant Suitable Water, which must be suitable from birth. It gives me the confidence I'm looking for when I worry about the safety of what she drinks. Mind you, Bebby says it's only suitable when used in conjunction with a health professional's advice.
I advise you to not waste your money on this. That's $7 up front, please.
Under the consumer law, products have to be recalled if they could cause harm to humans, like the Torren 1500 kilo trolley jacks that
Failed to comply with the Australian standard for hydraulic trolley jacks.
Now you tell me!
or the Redwood Raspberry What No Dairy dessert, which Vegan Perfection had to recall because of the one imperfection that they really didn't want.
The presence of an undeclared allergen, dairy.
What? Here at the checkout, our rules for recalling products are, well, a little bit broader. Which is why we're issuing an immediate nationwide recall on
Kleenex flushable cleansing cloths.
Cleansing cloths?
Meaning bottom wipes for grown-ups. Now, you might think that that particular need was kind of nailed with the invention of toilet paper. Kleenex certainly thought so back in 2012.
There's a level of clean you only get with Kleenex Cottonelle.
But not anymore.
It's dirty. You really need some water.
It's kind of like using toilet paper without cleansing cloths.
Think twice about the way you clean.
That's right. Kleenex thinks your ass is like glass. Now, to be fair, the cleansing cloths do come with a very helpful warning.
Warning, avoid contact with eyes.
But without this even more practical advice.
Warning, costs 55 times more per sheet than ordinary toilet paper, which you still have to use.
Or this.
Warning, wipes may not break down as advertised, causing sewer blockage and environmental damage, like the double-decker-sized fatberg found in London sewers last year.
Flushable cleansing cloths. Warning, do not buy. Seriously, where did Kleenex pull this one from?
How about here?
Kirsten, can I talk to you about something?
Sure.
I've noticed you're not really looking after your skin.
Thanks.
No, that's okay. Seriously, you need to be Revitalifted.
What?
Revitalifted with Revitalift Laser x3 by L'Oreal. It has the power of Pro-Xylane, Pro-Retinol and Stimulift.
What do they do?
They correct wrinkles, re-densify the skin, re-support contours, plus also challenge the power of a laser.
I think you might be a bit challenged. Look, let me put it this way.
Love, 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 skincare made simple. Don't spend your money on all that crap. Skincare made simple. Let's sit you down now for some facts. If you wanna make your skin look nice, no need to pay a high price. There's some basic things to look for when you go into the drugstore.
He means pharmacy. What are you worried about? Wrinkles?
Obviously, that's why I'm a Revitalifter.
Wrinkles made simple.
Look, first of all, you need to ignore all nonsense words like Pro-Xylane and Stimulift.
But they sound so science-ish.
If an ingredient has a TM after it, like Boswellox, it's probably a load of Boswellox.
What about collagen? That's a real thing and it's in loads of anti-wrinkle creams.
Yeah, the beauty industry would love you to think that you can get the same effect by rubbing collagen on your face as you can by injecting it. But that's not the way it works.
You mean this L'Oreal Collagen Replumper won't replump my face?
No. Generally, collagen molecules are too big to penetrate the skin. And even if they're not, when collagen's kept at room temperature, like on a shop shelf, it becomes ineffective.
Skincare made simple.
But what about Shiseido's Bioperformance Super Corrective Eye Cream? It's inspired by the skin-plumping effects of hyaluronic acid injections.
Yeah, injections. Hyaluronic acid fills out wrinkles if a doctor sticks it in your face with a needle. Inspiration doesn't come into it.
But look! It's a laser penetrating layers of skin, forming molecules, growing a matrix.
Zoe, they're just pictures. Anyone can draw pictures. Look.
Mark can draw pictures.
Well, what about Q10? It's not a picture, it's a coenzyme.
Okay, there's a bit of research out there suggesting that Q10 or ubiquinone might help with very fine lines. But it would probably only make a difference to people who look at your skin like this.
What about GABA complex?
What complex?
That stuff. Freeze 24/7 says it's a natural muscle relaxant.
Zoe, that's a neurotransmitter. Rubbing it on your face will do approximately nothing.
That's sad.
No, it's not. If there was a cream that you could apply without medical supervision that actually relaxed the muscles in your face, that would not be good.
Does anything work and not make me look like that?
Well, there is evidence for some types of retinoic acid, but you'll need a prescription to get your hands on a version strong enough to do anything.
Why?
Because it's really full-on stuff, and it can cause some pretty hectic irritation before it starts to work.
I'll just use Pro-Retinol then. That's in everything.
Sorry, pros are con. Sometimes they even admit it. Results not equal to a retinoid prescription.
Skincare made simple.
Look, here's how it works in the beauty business. They take a medical grade product that actually works, like retinoic acid, Then milder versions appear in off-the-shelf products like retinol, which can be effective if it's strong enough and stored correctly, but that isn't always the case. Then another version comes out with a similar name like Pro-Retinol, which does basically nothing, and that's the one you'll find everywhere.
This is giving me stress pimples.
Pimples made simple.
If you want to buy a pimple treatment, you're looking for one of these ingredients: retinoic acid, salicylic acid, or benzoyl peroxide. But be careful, because some of them can cause irritation. Look, you can't avoid all pimples, but most dermatologists say your best shot is to wash your face twice a day with a gentle soap-free cleanser.
Great. Where can I buy that?
Anywhere! Like, anywhere.
What about the worst problem in the world? Dryness. After all, moisturising is a duty, not a pleasure.
Duty, not pleasure.
Dear God. Okay, look, a good moisturiser will do two things: form a protective barrier and hydrate the skin. And any bog standard cream with glycerin and sorbeline in it fulfills that duty.
I like this one. It's got a French name plus miracle broth.
Miracle broth what, Zoe?
Miracle broth. TM.
Look, moisturisers come at all kinds of price points, from the insane to the somewhat unreasonable to bargain basement. And effectiveness doesn't necessarily increase with price.
Skincare made simple.
Why would you lie to me?
Cosmetics regulation only requires that products be proved safe, not necessarily effective. And if you have a serious skin condition, just go and see a doctor.
For serious problems, go see a doctor.
What about bee venom and placenta and stem cells?
There's no compelling evidence that any of those magic potions do anything. Help her, girls.
Go see the doctor. Skincare made simple.
Zoe, wake up. I was having the strangest dream, and you were there. Kind of a lot. And you were there, and you, and you, and you, and Mark Holden was there.
Oh, I'm still here.
I just wish I could remember it.
You are the worst. Okay, the only things worth bothering with is this stuff for wrinkles, this stuff for pimples, and this stuff for dryness. And if you've got a serious skin condition, see a doctor.
Where did Mark go?
And the single best thing you can do is to protect your skin from sun damage by using a product with SPF-like sunscreen.
Good night.
Hi, I'm Timothy Pilgrim, Australian Privacy Commissioner. If I could say one thing, it's take control of your privacy by asking why an organisation wants your personal information before you give it to them. If you're not sure why they're asking for your personal details, ask them to explain why they need it. Our research shows that 1 in 3 people have had a privacy problem in the last 12 months. Don't let it happen to you. They can be long and boring, but it's important to take a look at an organisation's privacy policy to get a sense of how your personal information is going to be used, stored, shared, and whether it will be sent overseas. 60% of Australians say that they've chosen not to deal with an organisation because of privacy concerns. In March this year, privacy laws changed to give people stronger privacy rights. Businesses must now be more open and transparent about how they handle your personal information. For example, you must be given a simple way of opting out of being included in marketing lists. And if you don't know how a company got your information, ask them. They're legally obliged to tell you where they got it from. Your privacy is important. To find out more about your privacy rights, check out our website at www.oaic.gov.au.
Welcome to FUtube, the segment where we respond to your complaints about deceptive and misleading claims. I'm Craig Rucastle. First up, a quick message about that age-unsuitable card from before. As Ken pointed out, you're not out of the woods once you turn 3. He found this card for a 4-year-old that was
not intended for children under 5 years of age.
So remember, people, no matter how old the recipient, please be careful, because you ignore greeting card safety warnings at your peril.
Happy birthday, Gus.
Thanks, Asha.
Ah! Next up, Matt, who did something with his Samsung tablet that made us at the checkout very proud.
I decided to follow the links and have a quick read of the new terms and conditions.
You know, it's people like Matt that make doing this show worthwhile. But Samsung's terms and conditions turned out to be not such a quick read.
Approximately 107,180 words.
And to put that in perspective, that's about the word count of the Emily Bronte classic, Wuthering Heights.
But Lord Smythe, without limiting Samsung's other rights, Samsung may terminate your use of the Samsung Book Readers Hub.
No, let's not do that, please. So, Matt wrote to Samsung and asked the reasonable question.
How is anyone supposed to read the approximately 107,180 words of the terms and conditions, privacy policy and data combination?
Samsung answered with a form letter suggesting that Matt go to a section of their website where he could ask questions, but only after logging on and agreeing to their terms and conditions.
Those cats!
Please, you'll give yourself the vapors.
The good news, Matt, is that there are protections in the law for this kind of thing. Under sections 23 and 24 of the Australian Consumer Law... No! Basically, the consumer law says that any standard form contract, like these terms and conditions, any term that is not fair is void. And the good news for you, Matt, is that one of the things that has to be considered when deciding what's fair is whether the term is expressed in a way that is clear and readily available. And we think that if something's hidden away in a 107,000 word block of legalese, then it's pretty hard to call it clear and readily available. So we asked Samsung if they agree, and we hid that question inside 107,000 words of Wuthering Heights. Man, hope they enjoy moors and brooding. Next up, we heard from Adele, who's worried that her complaint...
It might be a little boring.
Adele, have you seen the checkout? We did 6.5 minutes on superannuation and 4 on insurance. I mean, how boring do you think your issue...
It's about superannuation and insurance.
Oh. Well, anyway, Adele was proud as punch when her teenage son got his first part-time job and therefore joined his first super fund.
Great, I thought kids starting superannuation so young will be well covered.
And I'll bet Adele's son was stoked too, because there's nothing that teenage boys love more than responsible fiscal management.
Just look at the magazines I found in Michael's room!
Well, boys will be boys.
But a year later, they discovered that almost every cent of his super had been spent on life and income insurance, a policy that they didn't even know he had. So how did he get it?
Because he'd not ticked a small box on the application form to opt out.
Now, the super fund wasn't being dodgy. In fact, a lot has changed in the world of super funds recently. The government now makes all employer-nominated funds offer life and disability insurance on an opt-out basis. So check your super statements and see how much of your super these insurance payments are eating up. And if you're happy with that amount, by all means, keep the policy. But if you're not, contact your fund and opt out. You see, super and insurance can be interesting.
I agree.
Not you too!
And now we turn to Jill, who, like Adele, was just...
wanting to be a helpful mum.
Man, so many helpful mums in this segment.
You're doing great, darling.
Thanks, Mum. So, wanting to be a helpful mum, Jill...
bought Telstra prepaid phones for all of my kids.
What a nice mum. But the thing with a lot of prepaid phones is that you lose unused credit unless you renew before it expires, which is a problem for Jill.
It's hard to keep track of the dates when credit expires, and I naturally resent the phone company pocketing any unused credit if I miss the expiry date.
Now, losing credit is something we're often asked about.
If I've bought and paid for credit, doesn't it essentially then belong to me? Shouldn't I be able to use it how and when I please?
The short answer is no. The slightly longer answer is that it's a standard form consumer contract, so you could argue that it's unfair. But the telcos are generally transparent about this. But back to Jill. She wanted to set up an automatic payment to stop her credit expiring. Now, the problem is that Telstra prepaid credit expires every 30 days, but Telstra's automatic payments must occur on a certain day of the month. So,
whenever a month has 31 days, the credit expires before the automatic recharge date and your money vanishes.
So regardless of how you feel about prepaid credit expiring in general,
I'm sure this is morally theft.
Losing it to a system that's either been designed with overwhelming incompetence or ingenious, if low-level, bureaucratic evil is especially galling. So if you're in a situation like Jill's, make sure you take it further. Although, I guess in Telstra's defence, they only rip you off on months with 31 days, which is only 30 days, September.
It's 7 months of the year, Ben.
Thanks, helpful mum. Finally, MG has emailed asking,
How do the normal consumer laws apply to garage sales?
Oh, MG, that was such an interesting question, delivered with such disregard for caps lock etiquette that we got our research team right onto it. So, how do consumer laws apply to garage sales? They don't. Thank you. According to the ACCC, the consumer law rights to repair, replacement or refund don't apply to one-off purchases from a private seller. But they do say that you have the right to full title, undisturbed possession and no unknown debts or extra charges. And if you want to know what that means, ask the My Questions section of the Samsung website. So,
We hope this answers your question.
Until next week, good night.